Hi, good evening, all. Uh, this is SK. I hope you all did good today. I just took one trade. I was out for some personal meeting. Okay, let's see. This is our new video sessions, which I have started doing bar by bar. How do I look at the market? If you guys have seen the early morning market view before the open video, I have drawn this line there, 190.19 ish. I mentioned, the pullback should not go beyond 190.19 ish, and it's always going to be a long. Every pullback we should buy and we should go for the next leg up. But as I always say, I only trade from 8:30 to noonish. In fact, from 11 to 12, there are very few positions I take. Most of my positions, my trades are done before 11 o'clock. There is a very, very big reason, how to prepare for the first hour, that we can prepare from the view, from the market cycle, the market situation, the position we are having at that moment. Like my early morning judgment was, we are going up from the. Let's go to the weekly. From the weekly, because we had these tails, I had this line drawn, this target drawn, and I was expecting it to go higher. So somewhat I was more bullish than bearish, but I was also ready. I'm always ready for any sudden change of the market. It takes some time, but sooner or later you get the hold of the market that what you're expecting, it's not happening. But we should always be at the side of a higher probability before the market opens. That's why it's very important for everybody to know that what market might do, or what price action is telling us that the price will go higher or lower, after the open. As most of the positions, the swing positions, are taken in first couple of hours of the day. Let's go to the 5 minute. Over here, if we see my Twitter account, I was away, but before even market opened, before the market even opened, I mentioned over here breakout mode with second entry long. This is the bear breakout. This is the first entry, which was not giving us any signal to buy tails, but it was not aggressive buying. So we saw the final pullback. We saw this kind of a buying back to the range where the breakout should have happened, and there is the pullback is not enough to give us any leg down. So I mentioned here breakout with second entry long. Most of the times, I do not have time to post pictures. I'm just saying, second entry or breakout watch. It's because I'm as well trading. That's all I know and all I do for a living. So after this, if you see, I mentioned here, breakout mode, and after some time, we saw this kind of a price action here, where this was the candle here, where I said the breakout mode. We saw at least 7 to 8 point gain. Then there was a pullback. This is the first entry. Again, this thing was a second entry. This is a pullback. From the pullback, we can buy the pullback, as we know we have some kind of a bullish price action going on here. We can buy, but if you're not planning to buy this pullback, let the first entry be your signal thing that we are still bullish. Wait for the pullback, and after the pullback, your entry will be above this trend line here. Above this trend line, we went for the aggressive buying. This is the short covering as well as buyers coming in. Again, I mentioned, this buying looks very strong. We should get second entry long here possible. Pullback buy. This thing here is a pullback buy. After this kind of a strong price action, strong buying, it's only happens in on Fed meeting, FMC report days. When we saw this kind of a 10-15 point move one side, and right away 10-15 point move the other side. This is about 10 point move. 10-20 point move on one side. There is no way that we will be finding or looking at bears taking this thing more down, because the buyers will gonna buy. They're gonna buy for any reason. And that's what I mentioned. Pullback buy watch. Why I'm sharing this? Because these things happen every single day, and this is what we have, like there was no follow through for the pullback. This candle was a buy, or you can buy here. With buy here, you can easily take 4.5 point, like gain, like that's what I said from my last post, 4 to 5 points on E-mini, and I mentioned here as well, few trades a day, similar trades every day, and similar setups, like I personally, I do make my living, I make all my money trading couple of setups, like there is a pullback buy, there is a breakout or breakdown, and second entry. My favorite is a second entry, like this is a second entry for me, this is a blind gamble, this is a very high probability. We know that, it's bullish, there has to be, for me honestly, it's not even it's a very bad probability that, like we can look into sorry guys. I mean, for me, this is not even bearish. Like there is no way bears. They had given up here. And they are not coming here as well. And let's go to the early morning market view. In market view, we know that we have tails on the weekly chart. So week is ending tomorrow. Week is ending in a day. So bulls are aggressive. As you, me, there are institutions. Everybody looks the same way. So they are buying. So we go for the next leg up. Same way, if we see here, very important here, like I'm gonna share something with you guys. So this is a second entry buy. This is a pullback. You see there was a one bear bar, there are two bear bars, so this thing will be a third entry, third push. This is a one push, two push, third push. This is a wedge. This is the bear flag. If you have a little bit knowledge about price action, you will understand what I'm saying. Every day this kind of a reversals we see. If we fail here, then where the buyers will be looking to buy again is the bottom of the range. Bottom of the range is about 185, 1895 or 1900. This is the bottom of the range they will be looking again to buy. So this is over here. We see there are two bear bars, still bullish, still we can go long, but this will be a third entry. Bulls trying for the breakout. This will be the third push. If failed, might get the deeper pullback. I mean, again, if I'm saying something, I'm only talking about the probabilities. But the main question is that if I can see, you should see. Like everybody can see the same thing. Like most of the profitable traders, they see the same thing every day. Let's go back. And you see, like where did we fail? Like by the way, guys, I do use hull moving average, like 20 on my this thing. It really helps me. Like the if you see here, the breakout was above, the breakout was above, the breakout was above, and the breakdown was down. This 20 moving average. This is just a psychological helping factor for me to like trade sometimes. So if you see, we saw the deeper pullback here. Most of the guys, most of the bear traders, who sold this, those who just make their money being short in the market, they short this as well and expecting this to go down. They know, as I know, if I know the probability that bulls will not be buying here, that's why I mentioned that we can get a deeper pullback before this even happened. So if I can know, I trade good, but like I'm just trading from my little office, like, but they are trading for $1 billion, and they also see these similar things. So that's what we see, and what we saw at the end. This is what we saw at the end, a deeper pullback. Now, very important here, very important, something we're gonna see, like on the left hand side. This was the third push up. Understand, this was the first, second, third. The formula, the setup, everything works the same for either bulls or bears. It always works the same, So this was the first push, this was the second push, this was the third push with the tail. Third push down here, that means it's again, you can say parabolic wedge, or you can say wedge, or whatever you want to call it, whichever way it makes sense to you. This was the third push. And that's what I said. Bulls have started buying here. For bulls, we should close higher, buy what soon possible low of the day, And that's what happened, like this was the low of the day. Then I took one trade as well. And that's what happened, this was the low of the day, and it all happened before noon. So by noon, we saw this was, this is the candle when I was mentioning about this. Oh, I don't know, it's not working. Okay, there was a candle which I mentioned over there, like, so 1 2 3 push down, like with third push down we saw right away there was a buying, and this is the buying. Is it the first leg? We can trade this, like if you really want to be very sure, you can buy the pullback. Pullbacks, you can slowly scale in lower, have your stop here, like you do not want the price to go below the breakout point. So if you see, before we see the price going below that, we had made this kind of a money from this pullback. So we bought this pullback, and this is one, this is two, this is three. Again, third push up. One push, two push, three push. Third push up, this is a lower high, and we saw this kind of a sell-off. Again here, 1 2 3. We saw this kind of a price action. So most of the days, we often see similar price action. And after 12, after 12 p.m., you see we saw this kind of a price action today. Let me take you back. After 12, we saw this similar price action. Can you see? Let me just highlight this guy here. If you see here, that's more likely a very similar price action we saw it here. A little bit deeper, a little bit higher. This is going up. 1 2 3 push, 1 2 3 push, pull back, down, then it rallied up. It didn't rally up because the buyers were not there. Tomorrow is the last day, and for bulls, for me as well, I wanted to see a bull trend day. This is something, an indecision day, like where we started, there we ended. So that means bulls and bears are not sure what market will be deciding and what market want to do. Like either they want to go higher or they want to go lower. So this is like, trading e-mini. If you're trading, if you want to make your trading career as a professional day trader, I have learned this from Mr. Al Brooks. Like there is one thing which I really liked. We should only concentrate on one or maybe two or three stocks. I personally only trade e-mini. Like this is my bread and butter for my family. I have two daughters. My wife is a housewife. I stay home. Like my kids stay home. Like my wife stay home. Like we all like have one source of income, and that is my day trading or swing trading. So like I'm sharing this, and if you see, I have plans not to charge this, and I have plans to in future, if I find some good students who really can do, but the funds is the problem, I will give them the funds. It's again, mark my words, it's not been decided yet. I'm not committing it. It's all going to be, I'm trying to make that paperwork that we will be sponsoring kids around the world so that we can give them the money and they trade. If they trade good, they make money, they keep the money, and the money we give them, like we can decide, we take that back after they start earning. So we are here, I'm here. It gives me passion, it gives me a motivation to teach, like to help other people, like, because this is a very simple thing. If you can get into this, do not go into penny stocks. Let's see what are the odds. Odds are, in penny stocks we have 100,000 traders and 1,000 traders win. In this, in e-mini, futures or day trading as a index or something like that, we have what, let's say we have 100,000 traders and 50,000 traders winning. So odds are that this is a simple way. Computers are trading, no emotions, most of the days, similar setups, and we're done for the day. If you want to make $1 million or $100,000 a day or something like that, that's for me, like one day you will. But if your day job is giving you If your regular 9 to 5 job is giving you, let's say, $500 a day, and I promise you, like, if you give 100%, if you try to commit yourself, discipline yourself, you will be making $500 trading two contracts of E-mini means 1,000 shares in S&P, or one contract is 500 shares in S&P. Let's say if you manage this guy right, if you would have shorted here, let's say you are shorted one contract, which is 500 shares, you would have made $700 to $800 in what, 20 minutes. So the thing is, we do not want to rush the trade. A few traders might have shorted here as well, thinking, okay, like, this has to come back, I'll scale in higher. But emotionally, when we see that our price, that the price what we bought at, now we are in negative. Whenever the price comes at break even, we tend to cover the short or sell our positions, when we are long, and leave a lot of money on table. That's what we need to avoid. Learn the setup. Money will be a routine. Making money will be a routine. You will be making money every single day. Uh, Trust me, this is going to be a life-changing moment. Don't trust me, don't trust no one. I'm sorry, don't trust me. Like, trust your instinct. Like, you can do it. I know that whoever is listening this, they can do it. So it's the time to do it. Let's do it together. Good luck, everybody. So you see, every day is the same thing, like pullback, a breakout, second entries. Now I will be sharing the pictures as well, which I shared like this today, so that you can see what I'm looking at, and you can go for the next leg up as well, next leg down, whatever I'm thinking. Will I be wrong? I will be wrong maybe many times, but like, the thing is, when I'm taking a position, sooner or later, I want to share with you guys that, okay, let's say I'm planning to short here. Maybe one of you guys say, SK, you're late, buddy. I already shorted here. I scaled in here. I'm making more money, Or I can say, I'm going long, let's say here, I'm going long here. And one of you guys can say, SK, you're late. We should have bought this because it's making lower high, So, am I perfect? I don't know, but I'm making good living, So you don't need to be perfect. You need to be profitable. That's all. And you should be having fun when you do this, And it is possible. It is very well possible. All my comments, most of the days you see, if I'm saying some setup is coming, most of the time I'm right. It's not to be I'm not arrogant of that, but I'm proud of myself that I put into these hours, and I want to be more prouder teaching all of you guys. So it's your time. Let's go together. Good luck, guys, and I see you soon tomorrow morning with my market view video.